Here's another example of how NDIS is failing the community of disabled people.
Now, Emma's parents need help to care for her, and the NDIS pays a lot of money for someone to do just that. But the conditions in which she was living were so concerning, her mum and dad feared for her health, sometimes even her life.
We've lived through an 18 months of hell with this.
So what happens, guys? These providers get hold of these people. They have got no intention of doing a proper duty of care. They're there to fleece the money.
Place.
Totally gut-wrenching.
It's not a very good picture of Emma, but it's an example of how vulnerable these people are and how these NDIS predators are infiltrating these people's private lives, presenting themselves as providers, and they're quite the contrary. They've got the exterior shopfront appearance, but they haven't got the internal ingredients to provide the services that these people truly do need.
Emma Treble loves listening to music, going for walks and a drive in the family car. She's much like you and I. But Emma lives with disabilities that mean at 33 years old, mum and dad can't care for her anymore.
It's a full-time job, like Emma, and overnight you are up and down every night of your life.
Battling cancer, Jeff is exhausted and Meryl worn out. The Trebles deciding their full-time care at home had to come to an end. But at the hands of support workers paid for by the NDIS, they say Emma almost died twice.
We've seen all.
And this is part of the problem that has brought the NDIS reformation into the spotlight. Because not only are the people that are being cared for killed, there was an instance where a woman that was caring for a young bloke who didn't have the proper restraint in the vehicle jumped out of the vehicle. She was pregnant. She pursued him and got hit by a car. Both her and the unborn child were killed. Here's an instance where the providers haven't done a anywhere near sufficient job.
All the mistakes and all the times we've had to bring her home when the whole idea of this was to set her life up and we can finally perhaps have a bit of life of our own.
She came very close to dying.
Emma's epileptic and non-verbal. Very few people know her like her private carer of 10 years, Sam Waters. But Sam says after 14 months living in supported disability accommodation, Emma isn't herself.
See, what happens is these providers, they isolate these people. That means then the person is at the mercy of those who they have chosen to look after them. And more these people are being exposed as inadequate. And this is more evidence that this is prolific. It's not just hundreds, it's thousands are being neglected and abused.
Very affectionate, used to be very happy. You can see that she's been traumatised by this whole thing.
Emma moved into a brand new house in suburban Melbourne in March last year.
See, the shop front. They're presenting the shop front, but behind closed doors, the care isn't there.
A place where she would have around-the-clock support by community care provider Sunrise to Sunrise.
And you'll see these places advertised throughout the communities. But if you get behind closed doors, I think there's a lot of disappointment and a lot of explaining needs to be done.
But according to her loved ones, that didn't happen. Instead, her parents and carers say Emma lived in filth.
Her sheets would be...
Now, I had partners that were women like this one that were independent NDIS service providers, and they provided tremendous care. But when these poor people got away from the individual care environment into the housing sort of like it's what it is. It's a domestic form of institutionalization. And these people are at the mercy of those who are behind closed doors. Now you can have the shop front, right? You can have all the shop front. There's the house. But what's going on behind the surface, that's what matters. And in this instance, as in thousands of others, it's not working.
It'd be very dirty. There'd be feces all over them and dried urine.
Sam was employed by the Trebles to help Sunrise to Sunrise care for Emma. She would visit the house multiple times a week, and what Sam found shocked her.
Her pyjamas that had been soiled, shoved in the bottom of her washing basket, on top of all the other clothes that hadn't been washed.
These are the living conditions inside the house funded by the NDIS, where the food is rotten, the sheets dirty, and the vulnerable bruised.
The majority of them had no training. They actually would admit to me that they had no training. Like when they did do her washing, they put it away still damp, and her clothes started going mouldy. There was twice I found Emma's medication on her bedroom floor, once on the laundry floor.
Emma's NDIS...
And viewers, what you've got to understand is this is just one instance of thousands, tens of thousands of cases where NDIS is being rorted by people that in most cases don't even need it. These are the ones that NDIS was brought out for.
Package at the time meant the provider was getting more than $350,000 a year.
And the first day I met from Sunrise, he called me outside and said to me, if there's any incidents, please don't tell the parents, come to us instead.
But
the problem with this is if you look, you tell me how it would cost $300 and something thousand to care for that girl. No, I don't care who you are or what. You could easily have that girl in 5-star care for that kind of money, and they couldn't even dry her clothes properly.
Emma's parents found out. Suffering seizures, Emma fell out of her bed 3 times in a single night. Her parents say that was on Sunrise to Sunrise's watch. Emma had a serious head injury and severe concussion. A worker was paid to stay up all night. Instead, it's been revealed they were asleep on the job.
You put your trust in these people to do the care at the level you do it, and they honestly don't do that.
So this is the point, and this is where it's gotten to. You cannot trust. You just cannot trust the majority of these places, be it aged care, NDIS care. Humanity has lost its compassion. And from what I'm seeing, from my experience, what I've seen, the individual carers that are accountable to these families are way more effective than the institutional domestic housing ones.
Parents say 2 months later, Sunrise to Sunrise gave Emma the wrong medication.
They couldn't
So finally, in the end, they've even given her the wrong medication.
determine which medication had been given.
4 months later, Emma had food poisoning.
They defrost chicken or any meats just in the sink.
In hot water?
Yeah, hot water, and it'd sit there all day.
That same month, Emma caught COVID, which turned into pneumonia and later respiratory distress syndrome. She spent more than 3 weeks in hospital fighting for her life.
Desperate parents who are quite sort of traumatised about fighting the system. That happens on a regular basis. You know, that's monthly.
Disability Advocacy Manager at Valid, Frederica Jensen, has seen providers make the system work for them.
We do come across cases where both support coordinators and service providers are billing for care that's not done.
In a statement, registered NDIS provider Sunrise to Sunrise said, "We are committed to continuous training and improvement and recognise that this is vital to the delivery of high-quality, customised care."
My response to that is, shouldn't the care already be there before you take on the customer? Saying that you have to have ongoing individualised training is not authenticating or validating the fact that you already have these people who need professional care. So when you examine that statement, what they're saying is we really haven't got the standards that are required for that level of care. And they are failing to reach that level of care. So how long does the continuous training and improvement have to go on for before they qualify to take on people that need this high quality customised care? They are obviously not at that level. Okay. But they're taking on these people that need that level of care, and they haven't got the people in this organisation to be able to accommodate that, and that's obvious. And this isn't an isolated case. There's tens of thousands of these places that are harming unfortunate people that are trusting them.
Parents, Emma's carers all want greater regulation of the disability sector. They want NDIS support providers to be closely and strictly monitored to make sure our most vulnerable are cared for, even when no one else is watching.
Who's overseeing all this and who's keeping an eye on these people and these companies that are popping up with NDIS?
Well, the truth of the fact of the matter is no one. It's now the 21st of the 6th, 2024, and they're trying to sort of way out of getting through this terribly failed system called NDIS, which apparently is costing more than the Defence of Australia, more than Medicare, and will overtake the revenue that's coming produced by the country. That's how big this fishbowl is, and people are going, I'm not going on Social Security, I'm going on NDIS. But not only are the carers rot in the system, so are some of the people that need the care.
What do you want to make the system better?
The NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission says it's aware of the family's concerns and is looking into the issues raised.
There's too many of them, viewers. There's that many of them. The NDIS wouldn't be able to... It's not something they're going to be able to sort out in 5 minutes. If you haven't subscribed to Pro Theologists, please do. Also, we have the other channel, which is Pro Brick exclusive. If you haven't subscribed to that, subscribe to that as well. And I'll catch you on the next one.